Have you ever told yourself, I've failed too many times, or I'll never be healthy? Most people think their biggest health problem is food, exercise, or genetics. But the real barrier is often invisible. It's the baggage you carry in your mind. Today, we're going to uncover the number one belief before lasting health is even possible. And it might surprise you. Because let's face it, if you've been carrying guilt, shame, or the story that you're a failure, then no diet, no workout, no supplement will stick. You'll always end up sabotaging yourself. So let's talk about where that belief comes from and how it quietly shapes your health decisions every day. So here's the truth. You didn't create these beliefs on your own. It's often learned from family, past experiences, or even society telling you you're not good enough. This belief gets embedded so deeply that you start living it as if it's true, but it's not. And once you see it clearly, you can finally start changing it. And I'll walk you through how to spot it, name it, and start letting it go. So, what is the number one belief to release? It's I've failed too many times, I can't change, or I'll never be healthy. So, any one of those, they all kind of fall under the same umbrella. This belief keeps you trapped in a predictable past. And this negative self talk acts like chain, inherited from family, childhood, or even trauma. So now these negative self talk loops lead to something what Dr. Joe Dispenza calls as your predictable past, which leads to your predictable future. Now, he says that people live defined in their past memories and their emotions, that their future becomes so predictable because they're just reliving things that happened in their past. He explains it as live an experience from when you're little and you create a system or a program or a strategy to how you interpreted that, and then you just live that over and over and over again, because which causes your past ends up becoming your future because you're just living the same loop over and over again. He explains it as that the brain is a record of your past. It's hardwired with emotional circuits tied to these memories, which create repetitive states of being. And then people just live this over and over again. But the best part about it is you can change that. And we'll be going over that later in this video. What are some of these things that you may say to yourself, or people or other people may say about themselves, that are tied to health related self talk from family messages that they've learned from their past? It could be something like, I'm not worth investing in. My family never cared about health. Or I always get sick. That's just how my family, or I always get sick. That's just how people in my family are. Taking time for myself is selfish. If I complain, people will think I'm weak. No matter what I do, I'll never be enough. Now, these beliefs or these stories that you tell yourself, they may feel true, but they're just experiences that you had that were tied to really strong emotions from your past. It could be that you were bullied as a kid, or somebody made fun of the food that you brought for your lunches. I've heard stories about people got teased about their home lunches. It could have just been that that kid that teased you about the sandwich that you had was just jealous about what you had. Not necessarily it was about what you were eating and what you, or anything about what it was that you had. We tend to take the story or take the experience and we will self-analyze it, but we're always deleting, distorting, and changing the meaning to ourselves. And once you realize it, that that's just a story that you told yourself, you're able to change the meaning of that story. That's why you may be stuck, and a lot of others like you may be stuck in this because of a past experience, a past negative experience that really put a mark on their lives. And it's definitely realizing that it was just you at a different age to where you're a different person now. You're not the same as you were when you were 5, 6, 7 years old. And a lot of these experiences could be that it was your parents that was telling you these things, right? Even something like being scolded about not cleaning your plate or being told not to waste food. These are learned behaviors that were taught to you as a little kid. Or even it was taught to your parents the same way. These same experiences are relived through your generations because it was taught to them, because that's all they knew. And it's not their fault because that's what they knew, because that's what they were taught. So they're teaching you the same thing, giving you the similar experiences to that, what they had. And they're just teaching you the same system that they were living on. You just need to realize that's all it is. It's just behaviors, it's just systems, it's just strategies that they learned on how to survive. And it's just things that were programmed into you when you were at a young age. So now, how do you release this baggage? So the first step is awareness. Start noticing the voice in your head. When you catch yourself saying, I always fail, I can't get healthy, ask yourself, whose voice is that? And definitely ask yourself this: is it really true? Is that a true story about me? Or is it something that I learned along the way? Or do I still believe that? Or does this belief serve me? Like, what does it serve? And when you become aware of it, write it down. And what you can do is you can replace it with a different belief, one that you want to believe. So anytime you tell yourself that I can't do this, I want you to change that to, how can I do this? Or how can I choose differently today? Just do this exercise. Trust me, it definitely works, because you can do this not just when it comes to your health too. You can do this with anything that you do when it applies to your life. Instead of saying, I can't do that, change the language to, how can I do that? Or how can I do this? And the reason why you want to do that, or what that does, is that it triggers the or the subconscious mind to look for ways on how you can do it. Right? This will be happening in the background. You won't be conscious of it. But if you ask yourself, how can I do this? Then your mind will seek out the answers for you. It will change the way that you perceive things, from I can't to how can I. It's so much more powerful. Give it a try. Now imagine what happens when you release the baggage. You're no longer carrying guilt into every meal or shame into every workout. You start making decisions out of self-worth instead of self-punishment. When real lasting health changes begin. Imagine what happens when you release the baggage. You're no longer carrying guilt into every meal or shame into every workout. You start making decisions out of self-worth instead of self-punishment. That's when real lasting health changes begin. And it's completely possible for you. If this hits home for you, remember, this is exactly what I help people do as a life coach. So if you're ready to release your baggage and create real change, keep watching, subscribe, and let's do this together. I'm not just sharing theory with you, I'm living this too. I'm on my own health journey, just like you. And as a life coach trained in NLP, I help people rewrite those hidden beliefs and patterns that keep them stuck, so they can finally move forward with clarity, confidence, and energy. If you've been carrying baggage that's holding you back, you don't have to do it alone. This is exactly the work I do with my clients, helping them release the past and create the future that they want, one powerful shift at a time. Now, if this speaks to you, drop a comment or check the description down below, and I'd love to connect. And remember, your past does not define you. You do. And that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next one.